What will the Saints offense look like with Spencer Rattler, ladies and gentlemen? All right, it's here. Like, this is the week heading to the first game of the regular season. How insane is that? Like, think about everything we've talked about the offseason. It was not that long ago. We were talking about, will the Saints hire Mike McCarthy? It was not that long ago. You know, that Derek Carr retired. The Saints draft. Are they going to take Shedeur Sanders? Are they going to take Jackson Dart? Who are they going to? Kyle McCord, possibly. Tet McMillan. All that's over now. Preseasons happen, training camps happen, rookie mini camps happen, and now we are heading straight for week 1, game 1 in the Dome against the Arizona Cardinals. Spencer Rattler is your quarterback 1. Question is, what will the offense look like? Now remember, once the quarterback battle was decided, everything kind of shifts. Because whether it was Spencer Rattler or Tyler Shuck, neither of those guys was going to be asked to carry this offense. Neither of those guys were going to be asked to throw for 5,000 yards or throw the ball 70 times a game. That's not how the Saints want to operate. So even though the quarterback battle is the talking point and it is the conversation, the way this Saints offense is going to run is a lot of running the football, a lot of tempo, a lot of crossing routes, a lot of keeping things simple for Spencer Rattler and getting the ball to his receivers, Chris Olave, Rashid, Shaheed, namely, but also all the other guys, right? Like Devon Vele, Trey Palmer, Brandon Cooks, depending on the situation, depending on who's out there. He's going to have to rely on those guys, yards after the catch, being able to run the football, short third and down distances. So, and also Kellen's play calling. Kellen is going to call this on a play-by-play kind of basis. It's not going to be, this is our game plan every single week. We'll see what happens. It is going to be, he's going to call it like Sean McVay calls it, like Kyle Shanahan calls it, like Matt LaFleur calls it, where he's going to have to adjust and find the mismatches and put players in positions to succeed on a play-by-play basis. So that's kind of the overarching theme of this thing, but Spencer Rattler is going to be asked to manage this game.
Okay. Mike, first topic presented by Aaron Rose. Spencer Rattler's a QB. What's the offense going to look like?
Yeah, we're actually talking about like a game and a matchup and not a competition anymore. Can this team win games with them? To me, it all comes down to, is this offensive line actually good or not? That's something.
True. No doubt. If you can't run the ball, if they are way, 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 way worse than expected, which at this point right now is kind of hard to see because 3 of the 5 are good. 2 of the 5 have been insane. Eric McCoy's entire career. And then Kelvin Banks for the preseason has been nuts. Okay? Fuaga's been up and down and was hurt, whatever, but he was good last year. 3 of the 5 are good. If 3 of your 5 offensive line are good, it's hard to imagine the whole thing being bad because of the 2 guards. And we'll see how it plays out. But I do agree. If they cannot run the football, that's going to throw this whole thing for a loop. But I think they'll be all right.
I don't think we actually learned in the preseason. I still don't know. I'm encouraged by Kelvin Banks. Trevor Penning will come back shortly. I don't know if it'll be week 1, but it'll be soon.
On the depth chart, he's the week 1 left guard, so we'll see.
I'm encouraged by him a little bit. Fuaga should be better in his second year. Ruiz had the ups and downs. McCoy makes this team better. But like the formula is the offensive line's got to be the best part of the whole team, basically.
Yeah, yes.
And the running game has to be solid enough so that it's 2nd and 5 and it's 3rd and short.
Yep.
And they're not asking the quarterback to do everything. The quarterback isn't under constant duress. And I think this can be the Sean Payton, Jameis Winston offense with Spencer Rattler, who can roll out sometimes and keep plays alive, who doesn't totally panic, who can look for those big shots when they're there, but build everything off of, hey, maybe we can win this game 23-20 and play smart football. And we even heard Kellen Moore say that was his favorite thing he liked about Spencer Rattler is that he wasn't forcing anything, as boring as it looked in the preseason. I mean, I think that's their formula. I don't know if they have – I know they don't have the offensive line depth to do it. Is their starting 5 good enough to do it?
Yeah, I think kind of to boil down what you're saying, like kind of like a simplified style of offense, which I think is probably what it will look like. And I think they'll probably do a lot of the stuff that they were doing last year with Kubiak when he was in there, where you're getting them out on these rollouts and you're trying to change the launch points and you're cutting down the field a little bit and you get things moving and it makes things a little bit more advantageous for your
Yeah, I mean, and this happens at every level of football. The best thing for a quarterback in college or pros or whatever, you move them around, you move the pocket, which then eliminates them having to navigate the pocket. Right? You don't have to always do this, but you move them out of the pocket. So all of a sudden, they don't have to worry about moving around, evading the pressure. They don't have to worry about the clock in their head. They don't have to worry about all that stuff. You're moving them. You are cutting off part of the field, so now their progression and their reads are simplified, and everything is usually in front of them. I always talk about levels concepts, but like levels concepts, Mitchell Trubisky did this a lot. Jared Goff did this a lot with McVay, where the receivers are basically just in 3 levels of the field right in front of the quarterback. So the quarterback's rolling out, and you got like a short crosser, intermediate, and then deep. And it's just which one's open. None are open, throw it away, or run for a yard or 2, whatever. Like that's kind of like, and that's a super simplified version. It's not just copy and paste, but that's what we're going to need that's what we can expect for Spencer Rattler. His job, don't turn it over. That's it. Don't turn it over. Don't fumble in the pocket. Don't throw interceptions. Lean on the running game. Make the smart throw. When it's there, take it. Short throws, crossing routes with Shaheed and Olave. If they're going to give you 5-6 yards, take the 5-6 yards. That's it. And it could be more than that. This is just kind of the foundation of the offense. Of course, they're going to take their shots. Of course, there's going to be wrinkles, and it's not just going to be the same play. It's not just the same 4 plays over and over and over again. So I don't want to make it sound like it's going to be those boring, just 3 plays on rotation. There will be more than that, but the foundation of it, I think, will look a lot like what we just laid out.
Quarterback, and I think that's probably going to be very much a hallmark of what they're trying to do. We've seen it a lot in the preseason even. And I think some of the stuff is like interesting the way like they have them roll out like against like what you typically would see. Some of the bootlegs, you get your back turned into it a little bit, but I think that's really what they're going to try to do. And I think there's going to probably be a lot of like one read not there, check down, and that's how you live the play.
For sure.
I think that's kind of what we saw all summer, kind of with both these guys, almost like Washington kind of played like that last year, like where you just kind of try to create an environment that's the most advantageous for your quarterback. And I think you start out there, and if it's successful, then you kind of start to expand it a little more.
Washington, great example. Washington was the king of, is the 7-yard play there? No. Okay, we'll take the 4-yard play. And that was it. That was the offense. And they were willing to extrapolate that out over a drive, and they were willing to say, it's 4th and 3? Okay. We're confident in our ability to get 3, 4, 5 yards on either a Jaden Daniels rollout or a check down or a, whatever. And that's why they had these 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 play drives. That's kind of the new NFL, is see if they're giving you a big play. If not, take 4 yards, take 3 yards, take 5 yards. And that's what the Saints are going to do.
And add more and more and more. But I don't think you want him up there doing full field reads every single play, standing in the pocket, trying to see through the guards on everything. I think kind of some of that Kubiak stuff, I think if you look at what Jaden Daniels was doing last year, or Kyler Murray earlier in his career, or, just any of these young quarterbacks that got to play right away, I think there is a style of offense that works where really what we're looking, like the Jameis examples are great, where you're just kind of taking the load off the quarterback to a certain extent. You're trying to put it back on the offense. You're trying to put it on the play caller, the play designer, and you just want him to operate within those decisions, where you aren't asking him to hey, gun me to 5,000 yards and 45 touchdowns. That isn't going to be the style of offense.
Well, not only is it not the style of offense, it's not the style of the NFL. Like the NFL doesn't do that anymore. You don't have, very rarely do you have a team where that's the offense now. You look around, the offenses are much more of this run the football, take the chunk plays, play action. It's this like safer kind of bottled up offense because of what the defense became. Defense became, we're not going to let you throw the ball downfield. So it's kind of the idea that any team, much less the Saints. I mean, like the Titans aren't going to go out there and say, all right, Cam Moore, throw the ball 70 times and try and throw for 6,000 yards and try and throw us into these games. Like, it's not going to happen. You know, you're going to get the ball out of his hands quick, get it to your wide receivers. Hopefully they can make a play. That'll be it. But Rattler will be protected. Like, Kellen Moore is going to protect him. And if it was Tyler Shuck, he'd protect him. Kellen Moore protected Jalen Hurts. That's just the way to do it. Like, Jaden Daniels was protected. Like, these guys, they are playing within their systems. They're playing within the environment that makes them the best possible version of themselves.
And that doesn't mean check down on every play. I mean, I think Kellen Moore is going to be a really innovative, intriguing designer of offense. And look, we even saw this when Taysom Hill was quarterback a little bit. If the first read is open because the play design was beautiful, yeah, you can complete a 25-yard pass down the field. You can take a deep shot to all these speedy receivers that you have. If the play design works, and then it's like, you know, get yourself out of trouble. But that doesn't.
And I think those will be there. Like, I want to make sure y'all understand what I'm saying. This is not going to be Charlie check down. This is not going to be just nothing but check downs and draws and whatever else. Like, this is just a different style of offense, different vision of an offense where you're willing to take a 4 or 5 yard route that could be a 10-yard route if there's some yards after the catch or the receiver makes someone miss or whatever, but you're okay with taking 4 or 5 yards. Like, that doesn't necessarily mean you're checking it down every time. It's just the play's available. If it's available, take it. And then, they may be turned into 10-yard, 11-yard, 12-yard. I mean, the slant route to Rashid Shaheed that Rattler missed. You know, that's an example of an intermediate to short route that probably could have been and should have been a 20, 30, whatever it was on the field, yard touchdown. But if you look at the play by itself, it seems like a safe play, right? It's a slant route. It's not, you know, we're not splitting the atom. It's not play action, roll out, deep ball, 60 yards down the field.
Doesn't mean that there won't be plays down the field. Jameis had plays down the field. It was when it was very conservative.
I think you hunt for it, but okay, we're gonna have a levels concept over here with something underneath, and okay, that's not there, boom, that's what you want to do, and we're gonna get some motion over here to the left, and we're gonna have it stacked, and you can go 1, 2, 3 down, like, but I don't think you want him sitting back there going 1, 2, 3, 4, or middle of the field's closed, okay, I got the read on this side, now I'm gonna go to the backside. I think you're trying to simplify it enough to where he can go out there and succeed, and it isn't just all on him in the way that it would be like a Drew Brees. Like, and look, a check down isn't a bad play.
Right.
Like, it's okay. Like, you can.
The check down's only a bad play. The only check down that I would consider a bad play is when, and plays don't even get designed like this anymore, but when the check down is just literally like basically handing the ball off to the running back. When it's just like, you turn, I mean, y'all know the play I'm talking about. You turn almost to the side or behind you and just dump it to the running back who's standing still, and then he's just in the flats, and now it's like, all right, well, he's got to make 4 defenders miss. He has no blockers in front. Like, that's a bad check down to me. But a 3-4 yard crossing route, a dig route, a curl, those intermediate short routes, I'm fine with those. The only time I don't like a check down is when, or a lot of check downs, is when it is just a legit dump to the running back or the fullback or whoever who's standing still in the backfield. At that point, you might as well just throw the ball away.
Win games.
And I didn't mean to say check down. I meant to say dink and dunk. It doesn't have to be dink and dunk, but yes, absolutely.
And it can also be dink and dunk.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, but
I think it'll be way closer to dink and dunk than like a Charlie check down situation.
Like, I don't think that they're going to say you can't throw the ball down. Like, Spencer Rattler has a very good arm. Now, we saw some of these like 18 play drives in camp, and I think if that's being taken away, that's how you're going to attack. But I don't think they want him going out there and being like, all right, they're playing, 2 here, and the hole's going to be down here, and like try to squeeze it in there the way that like Brees would.
Yeah.
No, like, I think if that's there, I think for a guy like him, like, the correct decision is, hey, check down. And like, I think that's what he's talking about. He's making good decisions. He isn't forcing that stuff. I think in time, if you get growth and confidence in that, it's like, all right, we want you to try to hit this. We want you to try to do that. But yeah, just kind of operate within yourself and don't be a hero.
Here's the more important part of the question, I guess, though, is I think we know what Spencer Rattler is. I think we understand what all young quarterbacks in this league are. We could be having the same conversation about Bo Nix, J.J. McCarthy. It's not Spencer Rattler is a bad young quarterback, so you have to hide him. We're not talking about that. We're talking about all the things that you do to get a guy comfortable until he can grow and build and build.
Yeah, I mean, and Kevin O'Connell is going to do a lot of the same stuff with J.J. McCarthy. Now, it is a little different because you have Justin Jefferson, so there is more of a emphasis on getting him the ball than just like relying on the running game or whatever. But yeah, I mean, you look at Sam Darnold, you look at J.J. McCarthy, you look at Bo Nix last year, you look at Drake May last year. Like, they're not bad players. You just have to insulate and protect, and like, that's just part of it. And Drake May was very similar to what we're talking about. And I'm sure they'll do a lot of the same with Drake May this year.
Is the rest of the offense good enough to succeed if they're doing all the heavy lifting? Do you think it is when they're healthy and they've got their actual starting other 10 guys on the field?
To your point, like even the examples I pointed to were Kyler Murray and Jaden Daniels, which are two
exactly.
top 12 quarterbacks.
Think of early Jalen Hurts in Philly. They protected the crap out of him.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what you do. It isn't you aren't doing Peyton Manning stuff like in year one of being an NFL starter. And it's kind of interesting that those are the two examples because they're both Cliff Kingsbury, and like I feel like he designed good offenses that kind of took some pressure off those quarterbacks, allowed them to excel and make big explosive plays within it. So I mean, that's
the rest of this offense can get away with that. Can protect a quarterback. Do you think they can run the ball?
Yeah, I mean, I think every team in the NFL can, especially when you have players like Chris Olave, Rashid, Shaheed, Alvin, Kamara, and 3 offensive linemen who you feel really good about. Yeah, I think they're perfectly fine to be able to do that.
Well, do you think these receivers are good? I mean, I don't mind their starting 11. I can squint. I hate the idea of any backup playing it. I don't want a backup running back, a backup receiver, backup offensive lineman. I think it falls away fast. But you think the offense can be good enough to be competitive in week 1 with this full slate?
It's hard to say, man. Like, is Banks ready, or the guards gonna be any good? Like, Trevor Penning's not out there, and then when he is he gonna be a good guard? Is Fuaga taking the next step? Like, if you get 3 out of 5 playing really well, maybe. I like their receivers. Do we have receivers on this list? Okay, we'll get to it a little bit in the next topic, but I like their receiver room. I like their running backs. I do not like the tight end situation at all.
Yeah, I mean, and I've had a few people ask about this because we did the video about the critical flaw or whatever, and a lot of people were like, tight end. The way I look at it is that Juwan Johnson's floor is he's like below average. He's just a below average tight end. But I don't think he's so bad to where you're looking at that and you're like, this is just cooked. Like it's just a nothing burger. I don't think it's that. But even if you're not a Saints fan, if you look at Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Alvin Kamara, you're okay with those 3. You're all right rolling into a game with those guys as your playmakers and your guys that you're going to be leaning on. And a lot of other teams, they'd be totally fine with that. They'd be totally fine rolling into a game with those players. So, the Saints, for a team that we're predicting to be a 6, 7, 8, somewhere in their win team, yeah, you can absolutely be relevant, compete, all that stuff with those players.
Is it possible for them to win games if the quarterback is operating within the confines of what he's asked to do at a very high level? Yeah, I think so. I mean,
the team the Saints remind me so much of the Giants, where all offseason we've heard how bad the Giants were going to be. We've heard the Giants are going to be 2-win, 3-win, 4-win team. Giants suck, Giants suck, Giants suck. And on this program, we've said, I don't know, it's hard to be that bad when you have an elite defensive line, when you have Malik Neighbors, when you have Tyrone Tracy, and you have Russ Wilson who can operate in offense, and you have Brian Dable. And it reminds me so much of the Saints, where it's like, I don't know, it's hard to be that bad when you have these good receivers, a good running back, a good coach, a good good offensive line theoretically. Like, when the pieces are there, it's not like a team like Cleveland who is devoid of talent. Like, Cleveland is devoid of talent. Wide receiver, running back, you're looking at that team, you're like, all right, there's some, I mean, like the Cowboys. The Cowboys running back room is bad. Javonte Williams, Jaden Blue as your guys, that ain't good. You know what I mean? Like, that's you're hurting. Alvin Kamara, you can work with that. Chris Olave, Rashid, Shaheed, you can work with that. Is it going to be a Super Bowl team? Is it going to be an NFC Championship team? No. But can you win games? Yeah. And that's consistently, we've been saying this like 0-17, 1-win, 2-win, 3-win team thing. Like, I don't see that. And same with the Giants. I just don't see the Giants being that bad because they do have talent. And when you do have talent on your roster and you do have capable players, and you're it's the NFL, you're going to be in games.
Is it enough to be a playoff team? I'm not getting there. I think there's going to be games given their schedule and their opponents that they're probably going to have to win. I think the defense probably is going to be a little bit lower than I think the optimism that was built in training camp. I think we were looking at them going against an offense that probably gave us a false.
I think the defense will be worse than people think they're going to be, just because I don't think they have. I think you're going to see weaknesses whenever they go up against like a really good running like attack or a really good wide receiver group. I think you'll see them struggle, but the defense isn't the Panthers last year. They're not going to be just like a sieve where they're the worst defense in the NFL. I don't think they're going to be top 10 or anything, because I don't think you've got. It's kind of like what we're talking about on the offense, but I don't think you have the guys. Like the Giants have the elite defensive line. The Saints don't have that, right? So even if Godshaw is good enough in the middle, or whoever ends up, being there, even if they're serviceable at stopping the run, okay, well, when you play a team that is really good at running the ball, you're probably going to have trouble. Can Kool-Aid and Quincy Riley be serviceable as your cornerbacks? Yeah. Okay, well, when you're playing Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, you might run into some trouble.
Sense of ceiling on that group. I think they're going to be okay. I think there's some players there, but I don't think it's going to be the high that we thought throughout training camp. I think that probably comes back a little bit. So like I'm still looking at it like a 5-6 win team probably within it. But are there going to be days where you're like, this can work? Yeah, I think so. I mean, and that's not even a stretch. Like we were talking about them with like 8 missing starters last year for like half of a game every week. You were like, man, is this it? Like, did they do it? Is he promising? And then it would fall apart.
They were winning, 16-6 at halftime at Tampa Bay in Week 18, in a game Tampa Bay was trying to win.
Yeah, and
I say this all the time, but should have beat Philadelphia. Over a 98% win share before the Goddard catch. You have a 2-point conversion to beat Washington after spotting them the first half, a game in which Jake Haener started. And you're winning at Tampa in the last game. And that is with guys who, if you go and look at who the Saints waived, it is a majority of players who were on the team last year. Think about the team last year. Now think about the team this year. Players who were key players, starting players. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, starting running back. Jordan Mims, starting running back. Dante Pettis, Stone Cold Kevin Austin Jr., Cedric Wilson, MVS, starting receivers, go-to guys. Okay? They ain't even like Shane Lemieux, your starting center / left guard. Connor McGovern, starting center. All these guys who they really, really, really relied on couldn't even make the roster this year. Like the difference is night and day.
Like those teams, I mean, they had some like a lot of there was a lot of guys missing, 8, 9 guys like at a certain point. So look, I'm really curious to see it. Like I'm excited about watching the season. I want to find out what it is. Like it isn't so dire that I'm like dreading Sundays or whatever. Like I'm excited to see what they can do. Now that the quarterback's in there, I'm excited to have those conversations, find out what he is. Maybe he keeps the door closed. If not, we find out what the other guy is and go from there. But I think that's what the season should be about. And I think there's a little bit of possibility with both of them. And we're going to start finding out with him first.
Yeah. All right. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. How will this offense look with Spencer Rattler as a starting quarterback? I'll see you in the next video. Peace.